Renewed focus on foreigners working using tourist visas, and Bali urged to prioritize landfill fire prevention with the dry season here, and it's going to be here for a while according to the government weather agency. Stay tuned for details on this and more. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is June 24th, and my name is Bruce. Selamat sore. It's afternoon today. And what is the weather like? Weather has been kind of strange for the last couple of days. Overcast, then sunny, then overcast again, really windy, then the wind suddenly dies out, then the wind picks up again an hour or two later, and then stops again. Hasn't rained. And well, temperature 30 degrees Celsius, 70% humidity, and wind speed is right now 13.4 kilometers per hour. And just a note, at the end of this video, there is a segment that was going to go in the last video, but the last video just got too long, and so I left it out. And so I've included it today. It's about Japan and their tourist issues. So stick around for that, or if you prefer, jump over to that and see what's happening with them and what they're doing with their tourist woes. And here, complaints coming from people working in the tourist industry who are saying foreigners are here and they're working illegally on tourist visas, starting up businesses in competition with the Balinese, and that's not fair, and we'll check on that in just a second. And just update from what I heard this morning, the data is back online, the computers are back online. I don't know if they're back online completely, but things are getting sorted out, I guess, and well, that's not a good sign that all this stuff goes down and there's just kind of chaos. Okay, so let's get into the first story. Viral foreigners using holiday visas in Bali. Disbar. No reports yet. It's once again rumored that foreign nationals are working in Bali using holiday visas. Many sources say that some of them have even opened businesses in Bali, though that it's easier to find a market in Bali where they're also foreigners. When confirmed, that the head of the Bali Tourism Service, that's Disbar, Pak Jakorta Bagus Pamayun, said that it was clear that no data or complaints had been received regarding the matter. No one has said that. He said, even if there is, we will coordinate with the immigration authorities. It would already be against the rules of the existing immigration regulations when tourists whose holiday visas are used for work. Of course, that is the authority of immigration, he explained. He also asked the media to help inform them if they found this. I'm not sure which media, is that social media or the regular media? He also said that there had been no reports, even though immigration had a hotline and had connected it to each other in traditional villages in the Bali tourism area. Obviously, it is detrimental to society. We are following the existing regulations, so they are abusing the regulations, and we will take action against them. Of course, we hope that tourists who are really on holiday don't play around. If it's true, we'll take action. Previously, it was widely reported that foreigners who came to Bali worked and even opened their businesses using holiday visas. This is considered detrimental to the Balinese people because foreign tourists prefer to use the services or businesses of these foreigners. Moreover, Balinese people who open businesses in the tourist sector are often subject to taxes, business levies, and have to compete with illegal businesses owned by foreigners who in fact don't pay taxes. They open various businesses, starting from renting villas, something on that coming up, and vehicles. Usually foreigners who have these illegal businesses get their customers through the community that they have. And so that's an issue that's been going on for quite a while now, going way back, but particularly since the COVID period, when a lot of people came in on investor visas, which were some of them shady, and then proceeded to open businesses, especially renting villas for one price, jacking the price up and renting it to other tourists for a nice profit. highly illegal, but people still want to do that. So the complaints have hit media, social media, and regular media. Well, according to Buck Pamayo, nobody has complained to immigration using the hotline. And so he said, hey, I don't know. And here's another one that's talking about villas. And villas, right, big business here. Villa business actors in Bali bite their fingers. Foreign tourists participate in renting out villas, creating unhealthy competition. Villa Bali business actors are asking the government to more strictly monitor foreign tourist activities in Bali. According to the founder of the Bali Villa Rental and Management Association, he highlighted the issue of foreign nationals operating in Bali by renting out villas illegally. He said, this triggers unhealthy business competition and is not in line with the sustainability of Bali tourism. Currently, our attention is focused on foreigners or foreign tourists who run the villa rental business freely roaming around Bali without strict supervision. This makes entrepreneurs uncomfortable and unfair, even though we are the ones taking the trouble to arrange legal permits. This was said by Pak Cadet from the association. The government must pay attention to screening for illegal businesses run by foreign tourists. This makes us nervous, he said. Therefore, the association was created to accommodate and voice the issues and problems faced by the villa rental business and management world, and then hold meetings with the government to find joint solutions. He hopes that relevant stakeholders will pay attention because these practices erode the revenue of local entrepreneurs who comply with the regulations. The number of tourists arriving at Nurai Airport per day is 12,000, he said. Government says it's more like 20,000. Meanwhile, the villas here are quiet. So where are these tourists going, he asked? There is a tourism leak that is suspected to have occurred, and we must move to find out this problem so that we can get the right solution. Villa Bali agent from Puri, Asia, said that according to him, rental villas that operate illegally and are controlled by foreigners need to be detected immediately so that there's control to prevent things that are dangerous for Bali's tourism world. So far, Balinese people really care about and protect tourism. If this issue develops further, it will be felt to be unfair and threaten the existence of Bali tourism. He said post-COVID, there's 12,000 visits per day, but very little uptake in villas and hotels. Don't let Bali be sold cheaply and illegally, he said. Wow. And you hearing this over and over about not selling Bali out cheaply. And in response, the Ministry of Law and Human Rights ensures that firm action against foreigners who violate immigration rules will be taken. And that's another story, but it just basically says what I've just said, and that Ministry of Law and Human Rights is going to prosecute people that are working illegally here and will get them and have them hit the road. And calls again from immigration, from the Ministry of Law and Human Rights, from the tourism industry about having the community notify people if they suspect that there is a villa or a business run by foreigners that is operating illegally. Okay, so that is a big issue right now. A lot of stories about that in the local press and on social media from the citizen journalists. The dry season is here, and it seems like it's going to last for quite a while. And remember the landfill fires last year during the dry season? Well, Indonesia's BNPB urges Bali to prioritize landfill fire prevention. Indonesia's National Disaster Mitigation Agency, BNPB, urged the Bali provincial government to prioritize measures to prevent fires at landfills before the dry season peaks. In a statement the other day, BNPB chief highlighted the importance of maximizing the role of the Landfill Fire Prevention Task Force in carrying out supervision and wetting landfill areas. The task force comprises personnel from the Regional Disaster Mitigation Agency, the military, the police, and the Ministry of Environment and Forestry's Land and Forest Fire Control Team. According to Pak Suharyanto, he suggested that local authorities assist the task force in obtaining the necessary equipment to maximize its effectiveness. He requested coordination with BNPB to secure tools such as water pumps. The Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, has forecast the peak of the dry season this year to occur from July to August. Suharyanto emphasized that a well-functioning task force is not only an effective and targeted approach to reducing fire risk, but also a cost-saving measure. Prevention through the task force is significantly cheaper than weather modification operations to induce precipitation or aerial water dispersal. The BNPB remains prepared to provide support, including weather modification, if necessary. What about just some rain magic? However, this would be the last resort, and we need to determine if other factors are at play first. He expressed hope that the local government will take these recommendations seriously, as landfill fires pose a significant threat to public health, indeed, and tourism in Bali. Indeed, again, tourists are not going to be happy wandering around smelling landfills on fire, just like last year. And so, see what's going to happen there. Hopefully we will not have any more of these landfill fires this year. And if you've been up in the north, you've probably seen that huge, tall tower, right? Now you can see that tower from my house here on the coast, right on the coast, right on the ocean. And you look up in the mountains, you can see it in the daytime when it's clear. You can definitely see it, and at night you see the lights lit up. So this thing is big. So what about it? Almost complete. Progress reaches 98%. Turyapada Tower is ready to increase signal reception in blank spots. Soon, areas in the blank spot category around Karangasem, Bulaling, and Jembrana will be able to enjoy television broadcasts without a satellite dish. This is because the progress of the construction of the tower in Bulaling, which started during the administration of the previous governor, Ryan Koster, has reached 98%. Some time ago, a trial was carried out. The tower will later function as a signal transmitter for digital television broadcast in blank spot areas. Now, 90% is almost finished. Only the glass bridges are left because it requires true precision with Balinese ornaments. That's what we're still working hard to do, so hopefully the weather won't interfere, according to the head of Bali Province Communications Information Statistics Department, Gede Brahmana. On July 4th, 2024, the party targets that the tower can be completed in accordance with the contract. Next, the party just has to wait for the television station that holds the digital television multiplexer to be able to use the tower to broadcast digital television. Actually, now after testing, it's running, only now the television friends just have to go there and get the thing hooked up. As is known, the tower has a height of 115 meters, which is located at an altitude of 1,521 meters above sea level. Total height, 1,636 meters. And that's why we can see it here. After completion, the tower will be used as a place to install integrated and multifunctional infrastructure consisting of digital TV services, cellular telecommunications, and internet. Apart from that, it's hoped that AI will be used in the tower. Wow, AI, I wonder what they're going to use it for. Everyone uses this technology now. Of course, the government will prepare special funds because if we don't implement it, we'll be left behind. Oh, don't be left behind. So AI coming to the tower, I wonder how that's going to work out. If you haven't seen the tower, it's pretty interesting to look at. Okay, and one final story that I mentioned before, and this is from the last video, and it's about tourism problems in Japan. It's not just here that we have people that are, well, behaving in strange, unacceptable ways. Japan is having some problems also and is worried about overtourism while at the same time wanting to double foreign visits. So let's take a look at that. Japan seeks to double foreign tourist visits to 60 million despite overtourism concerns. Japan's tourism agency said that the figure, 60 million, is still achievable despite concerns about overtourism. According to Ichiro Takahashi, head of the Japan National Tourism Organization, he said the previously announced target of 60 million, while difficult, is still a possibility. He said, if we make the right efforts, we can achieve it. He said that there are still many little-known places in Japan that are left unexplored by tourists from overseas. In 2023, Japan attracted over 25 million tourists from abroad, partly due to the lifting of pandemic-era border restrictions. Largest visits came from South Korea, Singapore, and the U.S. This year, more than 3 million foreign tourists visited Japan for 3 consecutive months, according to government statistics released the other day. This has reignited concerns over over-tourism in recent months, with local residents complaining on how some tourists display unruly behavior and even etiquette breaches. And you know, that's a problem in Japan. The government of Himeji City in western Japan is the latest to express its frustration. The city is famous for a World Heritage listed Himeji Castle and is now considering charging foreigners 4 times more than locals to enter the castle. The mayor said, "Wooden structures will wear out and become more brittle after many people climb up and down." He stressed the need to curb over-tourism. The mayor stated that locals who use the castle as a community hub shouldn't be charged the same amount as people who only come here around once in 10 years for sightseeing purposes. And you see the photo there with Mount Fuji in the background. One of Japan's icons that is prone to over-tourism is Mount Fuji. On Monday, authorities installed a crowd control gate along the volcano's popular trail. Last month, a city placed a large black barrier in front of a convenience store to prevent tourists from crowding the streets to take photos with Mount Fuji in the background. And that was very controversial, and the local citizens were very upset with tourists just walking into the middle of the street and standing there taking photos while traffic was trying to get through. And that's not the only problem that Japan has had with tourists. People acting inappropriate within convenience stores, for example, taking photos of geishas in places where they shouldn't be, among other bad behaviors. I was talking to a Japanese friend of mine the other day, and she said something that I'm beginning to hear people here say, which is too much. We need to cut down on the numbers, limit them in some ways. And I know that some people have suggested putting a limit on the number of people, and, well, Pak Sandiaga Uno, still the tourism minister for another 4 months, basically, said, no, that's not the answer. The answer is not to restrict the number of tourists. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone, stay safe, and I will see you next time.